Christophe Clugston, also known as the Jedi Dog Master, here with Ace. We're in the park, or leaving the park, whatever we're doing here. And I'm going to make a reaction video. And this is to a recent Robert Cabral video where he talks about a few things. Some of the things I'm not going to respond to because it's not as important to people, really, in the overall sense. I'm not going to talk about the dog food issues. That really needs its own in-depth episode. But I am going to talk about some of the things that he was bringing up and about the training and the people who are involved with dog training nowadays. There are some things that I agree with Cabral on, and some things I'm vehemently disagreeing with him on now. He said that there's a lack of respect from these mills and sub-mills, and there definitely is. Robert Cabral is saying that he's been training a long time, 20 years. Actually, Junior, that's a drop in the bucket. Now, you got 20 years, almost, I think you said. I'm starting my 51st year. 51 years of training dogs, Cabral. That's a hell of a lot more. I've done a lot more. And that's what I'm going to get to here with the training, because he keeps referencing people. Oh, these are the great trainers. Generally, he's talking about sport dog trainers. And as if this were the... Because he's stuck in a niche, and he keeps looking at these people. And then he's also talking about other people who are known on internet, and not people who are not known on internet, because there's a whole bunch of people who don't really want to be known, like the tactical dog trainers I know. Functional. Let's talk functional dog trainers, because that's where I come from. I did do, for everyone who's, you need to do sport dog competitions. You want to pay me for it? Sponsor me? Okay, I'll go back. I did it in the 70s with AKC. I did it. And that was almost all there was back in those days for the sports stuff, besides the bird dogs. I never competed in the bird dog category. I did train bird dogs, just putting that out there among other dogs that I train. Something, that Cabral, you need to look at. Bird dog trainers and hound dog trainers have revolutionized lots of things. Many, many, many things. They're where the e-collars come from to begin with, for one thing. That's just one thing. And if you look at some of my other videos, I don't want to get off on tangents, but I don't know if you even look at my other, even if you're going to watch this one, because I have a feeling you don't really go and look for different sources of information. If you were to do that, you would run into the fact that, that I'm talking with the last of the legendary Lassie trainers at all, Robert Weatherwax, all the time. We have a pod vidcast we've been doing for over a year together. And where does that lead me? Well, you're near Simi Valley where you're at. There's a great, phenomenal trainer, movie dog trainer, that's in that area right now. You don't know any of the movie dog trainers. Now, Cabral got into, there's not just one way to train a dog. There are many ways to train a dog. Yes, there is. And that's something that other people don't know. But movie dog trainers, because we don't get to cherry pick and don't get to card stack the dogs like you do in IGP or in the military or even with bird dogs. We don't get to pick the ones that are the best for the way that we want to train. You have to know how to train lots of different types of dogs. You have to know how to train, like St. Bernards. If you train a St. Bernard to do movie work, I can come up with lots of examples here. This guy right here is a phenomenal athlete, but he's got a prey drive that's insane because he's an American Pit Bull Terrier mixed with a Whippet. So he's sight hound and kind of ground scenting guy. But if it moves in front of him, he wants to go for it. And he is incredibly athletic. You can see some videos. I think I'll put a video of him up on this. I'm going to B-roll this. I'm just saying this so that you're wondering, why does the voice not match what's going on in the film? Because I don't just do these talking in the car or talking in the studio things like everyone else does. Anyway, so back to the training. Yeah, there's lots of different ways. There's 6 different methodologies training dogs. Now, I don't mean variations of things. I don't mean their take on it. There are 6 different methodologies, and a lot of people don't know them. They don't know them at all. Oh, you want to hear them. Well, that's what consults are for, and workshops and seminars. And Robert Cabral was saying, people put out free information to look at, to bring into their funnel. Yeah, that's what everybody does because, is it a profession or is it just a hobby? Because back when I started, there were a lot of hobby trainers, especially in the AKC world. And so it was a different feeling, a different vibe. But you got all these pet dog trainers. This is where it's come in and been corrupted, and all these people trying to do things like Robert was saying, they come from one type of camp or they come from another type of camp. They start out in the e-collar and they only do e-collar. They do that. That's like what I call the microwave people. They try to get everything done in 3 weeks. Impossible to do. Or you get the people like some of the idiots who just, my ideology is that the dog is seeing harm from this. There are loads of those people out there. Of course, Zach George heads that. He hasn't trained a dog to do anything. And one of the things that my channel is for is to show you the high-skilled dog trainers across all types of dogs. That's why the Jedi Dog Master Challenge exists. And also, Robert Cabral, I am inviting you to take it. And if you don't take it, I'm going to put you on the list of people who have refused to take it. It's just like Ollie. I know you don't like this conflict and stuff, but hey, humans are tribal. What do you think home teams are for? People like their neighborhood, people like their area code, people go their nation. You're very ethnocentric about the United States, and I'll get into that in a moment. That's one of the things I have a deal contention with you on. But you want to talk about the training aspects. You haven't looked outside your little niche that you keep looking in. Yeah, you're in LA and there's a lot of different people doing a lot of sports, and you've talked to some of the police trainers and stuff, but you haven't, have you talked to Eastern Bloc dog trainers where they train the dogs to kill people, they escape prisons? Have you talked to the people who train anti-poaching dogs, especially the pack dog? They use packs for anti-poaching. That's some pretty wild stuff. And of course, sled dogs. I've done all these things. 51 years. You think you've done something at 20? 51 years. I know a little something. That's why Robert Weatherwax and I have teamed up, because together there's nobody on the internet that matches us and what we're doing. Now, the Jedi Dog Master Challenge exists to show trainer skill. It's a trainer skill thing because you're not just using one type of dog. You have to do many different things. And I'm going to put in below. You can just search it on YouTube and you're going to find more information about that. I'm not going to rehash all of that. But the thing is, I'm putting things up for motivation, inspiration, to show you what is possible. And the fact that I can do this, you didn't know who the hell I was because I was doing other things, unlike a lot of these martial arts wannabes like Cabral. You talk about this stuff a lot, and you're not the only one. But I was a professional fighter. I was world rated number one world contender. A little something none of the rest of you guys have done. So I come into this with a different, competition is normal for me, high conflict situations. I was also a subject matter expert. And now we go to the country thing where all these dogs live like strays. No, here's something that people in the United States and parts of Western Europe do not understand. Is that dogs are just like squirrels in most of the world. And by the way, you have never obviously looked at Dr. Ray Copinger's work. You need to. I'm giving you free information. You're not paying me for any of this, but I think that you're somebody who wants to know more about canines. You'll find out more about canines this way. So dogs, the domesticated dog, as it were, and not all are. Like, I have a jungle dog. You've never worked with jungle dogs. Southeast Asian pariah dog, Southeast Asian village dog, Southeast Asian jungle dog. DNA is different. Dogs are different. They are closer to the real dog because they don't have man influencing their breeding patterns or trying to make them look like something. Because most of the breeds that people, what breed is it? It's like, what breed is that squirrel? Squirrels live and you see them and you get around with them, but not everybody tries to put a leash on them or a collar on them or takes them inside. That's how dogs are in the majority of the world. Places that you haven't been and haven't lived, and I have. I've spent way over half of my life in third world countries. third world countries. I captured my jungle dog. Not a stray, people, not feral, a jungle dog. Bred on his own, from parents that were bred on their own, surviving on their own. Smartest dog that I have as far as survival goes. Incredible. You can see him. I'm putting him on the screen. And bringing that up. So what I'm pointing out is your lack of knowledge on canines. You should, and that's where it goes. It's not about, well, people are critical, because when you get to a certain level, you have to be critiqued. We don't talk about all the things that you do that are great. That's ridiculous. If you've been involved in high level athletics, I don't think you have, that's where your critiques, or if you were a Formula One driver, they're going to critique you on what the faults are. Not telling you all the great stuff, because you're trying to remove faults. So I'm trying to help you remove faults. You need to expand your canine. You're not a cynologist. Look this up. And yes, dog training is a science, not just an art. You're saying it's an art, and that no scientists have trained dogs. You're completely wrong. Obviously, you never researched the Braylons. You never researched Bill Bailey. Look these people up. Among others, that's just, those are prominent, easy to find names. Look them up. Look what they did, what they accomplished. And all the people who started this, going off into the dolphins and marine mammal training, originally were scientists. Now, that's a whole nother problem, that people think that canines are like water mammals. They're not. It's totally different. It's been smarter if you looked at big cat trainers. Yeah, those are animals that are carnivores, and that are, dogs are mainly scavengers, by the way, which you didn't quite get out saying there, Robert Cabral, but they're scavengers. That's how they existed. So look at the research on that. But back to the training thing. So there are many different ways to train dogs, and movie trainers know the most, because if one method doesn't work, we switch methods. We don't just switch trying to do the same thing over a different way. That's what you'll see most people trying to do with one type of training, is mechanical, which you used to see people doing for a long time, especially with obedience stuff. But anyway, I'm not here to go into every detail on all the different methods, but I'm here just pointing out things that would help you, Robert Cabral. And something that you say you're here to help the dogs. Well, I don't think that's true. And here's why. You say that you're financially okay. You've got everything going on there. I think you're near Malibu, right? I lived out in Hollywood. I know how much that stuff costs to live out there. So if you're living out there, you got quite a bit of money. So anyway, where's the rescue you're sponsoring? How come you only have one dog, more or less? You have the puppy, right? The other one's almost 14 and a half years for Malinois. That's about it. I mean, you know, I hate to say that. And then you said the other dog, you have another dog that's not doing well also. You have 3 dogs. I have more dogs now. I have more dogs than you probably had in your entire life. And there's a dynamic that you don't know unless you have over 5 dogs at a time. And I have way over 5 dogs. And so very few people match. That's why I've said sled dog trainers. Get to sled dog trainers. They know more about dogs than anybody, because they risk things. Have you been in any endeavor where you're risking your life with the dog? Oh, that changes shit right there. That changes everything. Something you and Larry Crone and a bunch of other people don't know anything about, because you've never risked your life with the dog like that. And I'm not just talking, you know, I can get into the whole tactical thing. There's mini dogs, scout dogs, for example, even combat tracking dogs. So they were using, of course, people are going to say bomb dogs, but that only started really in 2002, because the methods they were using to train dogs back, like saying Vietnam, was wrong for the bomb stuff. But anyway, I'm digressing, because it's hard for me to stay glued to one topic when there's so much that needs to be said on these things. Anyway, so about the dogs, where's the rescue that you sponsor? How come you don't have more dogs yourself? If you care about dogs, why don't you have more dogs? Why? And where's the rescue you are sponsoring yourself? Why aren't you in other countries? I know this is one of my problems with you. You didn't give a shit about dogs in Romania. Well, you know, that's some bullshit right there. You don't care about dogs in other countries? What? You only care about them where they're there in your little area, and you're not even helping that many of them there. Why not help dogs everywhere? Huh? Why? Why? These are serious questions. This is a problem I have with a lot of, especially with pet dog trainers. Well, I'm charging $3,000 so I can help dogs. No, they're not. They're bullshitting you, because number one, they usually only ever, if they have a dog, some of them don't even have a dog. They have one dog. Wow. One dog. Wow. And are they financing or sponsoring a rescue or helping rescue networks? Oh, no, they're not. I'm helping loads in Thailand and in also the Philippines, which needs more help. That's among some of them. And he's Ace is getting some. Anyway, that's what. I don't want to go too far into this, but those are some big questions on some of the things you brought up. There's many different ways. There's 6 different methodologies to training a dog. I don't know if you can explain what those are. I know them, but anyway. So what do you think, huh? Do you think people like Robert Cabral should be doing actually more, and not just him, but other people like Zach George? He's not sponsoring a rescue. How many dogs does he have? You know, he wants to act like he's really helping dogs. No, he's trying to control you and tell you what you can do with dogs. So what I have to say, and Robert Cabral, you got to realize conflict is part of the human, that's just humans. Very, very aggressive primate species. You know, and that's a whole nother topic. But anyway, what do you think? You know, is Robert being disingenuous with the fact that he's saying he's help? It's about dogs, all about dogs, but yet he doesn't have that many dogs, and he doesn't run a rescue himself, and he's got the money to do that. What do you think? You know, let me know, okay? And we'll see you in subsequent videos.